So the reason for this video is to cover a couple of points about the Pimax VR 4K headset that has recently been released. There are a bunch of reviews out there covering, I guess, the general function and the unboxing and all that sort of crap. But I think most of the guys that were doing those reviews don't appear to actually be VR enthusiasts. They are sort of approaching it more as general consumers and somebody coming into it for the first time and not really knowing what they're looking for. I'd like to approach it from a different perspective. I am a avid VR user, specifically for one application, and that application is this, Elite Dangerous. I also still maintain that this is the flagship title for VR. So none of these reviews sort of seem to really have any idea about what they really wanted out of the headset. They were, just putting it up against the other players out there, which is fair enough as a general review. So the purpose of this is to address a bunch of concerns that I have with the other headsets and see where the Pimax fits against them. The main competitor, that I can compare it to anyway, is the CV1, because that's the one that I spend most of my time with. And the CV1 has a couple of, it's undoubtedly, it's up there with the Vive. And there's a lot of things to recommend it, specifically the accuracy of the tracking and those sorts of things. But I actually think the complexity of the tracking hurts it and the Vive in a bunch of ways. I find, every now and then that if I'm playing with the CV1, I'll be in the middle of a dogfight and I'll throw my head back like this to look out the cockpit, and my head will clip through the chair. I can't think of anything much more immersion breaking than clipping through an object that you're ostensibly trying to sit in. It might be a nitpick, but it does break immersion, and it's kind of at odds with the whole VR thing. For a while there, I actually went back to my DK1 because of this, preferring just, the normal gyroscope functions of tracking, which is a breath of fresh air with the Pimax as well, because, well, for me, for this specific function, because it has the same gyros. In fact, these gyros are very good. Ooh, got the sun over there. These gyros are incredibly good, and they're kind of like, they're at least as good as the gyros in the DK1, which is all I wanted really in a headset. For this game, that is. I'm going to stop saying for this game because, obviously I only use VR in this game because VR itself, as any other sort of experience, is kind of in the very early days. I think this is the first really mature, potentially mature VR experience. It was just slowed down by the displays available. The other thing about the CB1 is the brightness. The thing that really gave me a massive headache with that headset is the contrast is incredibly high, which is, in normal display terms, very, very useful. But in the CV1, in a dark setting, here, it was like the HUD in front of me. If I look at it now, it looks, well, you can't really see it because I'm capturing this, but it's quite muted. It's a burnt orange, but it's definitely clear, a nice colour to sit in front of dark tones. And I could look at this for hours and not get fatigued. And I have looked at it for hours now and not gotten fatigued at all. But the CV1, it's a vibrant, bright orange. It doesn't really matter what colour you change it to, it's vibrant and bright. And, I never thought I'd say that, vibrant, bright colours were a problem, but for this application, they are, because for me, they cause a lot of strain, and, I get correspondingly massive headaches from it. Like, a 3-4 hour session on the CV1 would lay me out for half a day with a migraine. Maybe that's specific to my eyes, I don't really know, but definitely had a straining effect. And you know, I guess the other thing is the main one is the screen door. The screen door on something like the CV1 that cost that price, it kind of beggars belief that they thought it was ready for release. And I guess where they're coming from. They were looking for capital, and you know, I'm an early adopter. I bought into it because I want these experiences to exist. And I want people to make this technology, but I didn't go in blind. But it feels very early. This headset does not. This headset feels good. It feels like it was made, well further down the lifeline of VR. The timeline of VR. There's no screen door effect whatsoever. It's incredibly high visual acuity on it. Looking at these textures, they're just crisp. The whole thing is beautiful. They really, really chose a very good display, both in terms of color, temperature, and dot pitch, and general characteristics such as, I'm not sure what type of panel it is actually, but it's certainly, I'm pretty sure it's not an IPS. It's certainly not a LED based panel. But yeah, it just works really well for this sort of darkened environment. But yeah, the screen door, I can't get over just how crisp this stuff is. It's not like I don't feel like I've compromised at all. It just looks nice. But yeah, the other thing is God rays. So this headset has no God rays, and I think it does that by lowering the FOV and not having to have a complicated Fresnel lens in the mix and things like that. But yeah, it does really, really well with consistency of background, and for me, that's the single biggest problem beyond the screen door effect in the CV1. I think a lot of people are sensitive to God rays. Some people aren't, but maybe it's just my CV1 had particularly bad instances of it. But yeah, it does not hold a candle to this headset. This headset is amazing. Yeah, so effectively what this feels like to me is a DK1 that someone's pulled the low-res panel out of it and put a 4K panel in. The thing that should be noted about this panel as well is it's not running at its native resolution. It's running at 1440p, which I believe is the highest you can currently run VR games. Through Steam VR, that is. But still, it is leaps and bounds beyond the other headsets. I have really got used to this, and I'm going to get a lot more hours out of this. This thing is well worth the money, and speaking of money, the price is phenomenal. $450 to my door in Australia. It took 2 days to get here, that's express couriering as well. Yeah, I don't think I could have had a better experience with that, with purchasing this, actually, but I'm always a bit wary of buying things from China, to be honest. I probably shouldn't be these days. But yeah, people were complaining about the headphones as well. I think they're actually really quite neat. They're very comfortable. They integrate into the headset. They actually give it a lot of balance. So unlike the little things that Rift had, these things, they sit over the ear. They're quite good sound quality. I mean, they're not going to win any audiophile awards, but they're certainly a lot better than what came with the Rift. Despite the positional audio tricks or whatever they were claiming were in those things, let's call them what they are, cheap little headphones that are stuck on the outside of the headset and just in the way. So, I mean, they really put some thought into this, I think, and they've managed to do it at such a low price as well. I'm very, very impressed. Yeah, this the visual acuity in this game now is just ridiculously high. But yeah. The quality of this station is just amazing. Yeah, to be honest, I mean, they've really, really done a good job. I should be clear, specifically for this game, it doesn't hold a candle to the Vive and the Oculus and the other experiences they offer, but to my mind, those are not mature offerings. I think VR has a long way to come before it can be used in the manner that they're trying to get into, sort of a room scale sort of thing. And I really like that this focuses specifically on the, sitting down, consuming media, or things that don't require you to move around in any way, and it's just done well for this particular purpose. And specifically for this game, this thing is brilliant. I could not more strongly recommend it to anyone who's interested in to my mind, the ultimate VR experience in Elite at the moment. I hope you found it useful. This review, it's not really a review, but my thoughts useful, and if you have any questions about this, just drop them in the comments and I'll get back to you when I can. I'm just going to go play some more.